talk to you about our discussion earlier was your boy David Beckham hired Phil Neville as the Inter Miami coach, and all applause to Phil Neville. I'm sure he's a great manager, but we wondered if not having so much.
You see his face?
not having so much head coaching experience, right? And especially on the male side.
Yeah, drink that tea, boy.
You're about to get me started. This is coming off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cracked Podcast. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cracked Podcast for season 2. I'm so happy to be here. You're on with your host, Mabricio Mookie Wilson. And I'm so glad to introduce my two brothers for the 2021. Let's get a big round of applause to Mr. The Glow, aka The Scholar. Let's hear it for Oguchi, Onyewu.
New year, he can't get a new intro, this guy.
Right? It's 2021. Come on, bro. Come on, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the grouch, the owner, the businessman, the entrepreneur. Let's get a big round for Mr. Fort Wayne FC himself. Let's hear it for Mr. Damarcus Beasley.
No, you say old, but I'm the youngest one on this call. Oh, this our show.
This beanie.
How I get called the old guy?
The beanie and the beard don't say so, buddy.
Man, I've been in Fort Wayne for almost about over a month, so it's cold. I still got my cold blood is still in me right now.
Bees is wearing gloves right now.
So, Bees, what's the first thing you did when you went home in terms of like to make you feel like you back in Fort Wayne, besides eating mama's food?
That's what it was, eating mama's food. Fort Wayne has changed so much since I lived there, 20 years ago, probably even longer than that. So the city is growing. They've done some great things around like the downtown area. So it was good to be home.
Nice.
Good to see the family. You know what I'm saying? Have mama's cooking. Have a glass of wine with my pops at night. You know what I'm saying? So it was good, man. It was fun.
And those little things are special, man. You know, we can't take for
granted. Man. We was talking about this the other day, or when I was home, that I probably haven't been home like that in probably, like I said, over 25 years.
Word?
Crazy.
I was there for over a month. You know what I'm saying? I was there for over a month. So I ain't been home like that for a long period of time since, I don't know.
They call B City Boy. They call him City Boy when he comes back to town.
I can only because of my schedule. I can only get back home. You know what I'm saying, for like 2 days or a day. You know, I'll do some of my school, my camps, talk to the kids, and then I had to fly back out because I had a game or I had training. So I never really got a chance to chill with my family. So it was great, man. I enjoyed seeing my nephew. I spent time with him a lot. So it was great.
Nice.
Well, listen, it's great to be back for season 2, and it's glad to see we all are healthy and blessed. Again, if you don't know, Beasley is one of the owners of Fort Wayne FC, a brand new USL team from his hometown. And, B, since we're already talking about it, give us a little update on what's going on with the squad and, how you liking things and is it coming together? And I just want to say you have an official email address now.
Yeah, I do. I got my business Fort Wayne FC email. It's official now. It's official. Once you get your email set up, it's official.
Watch what you sending on it. HR gonna get you.
I know. Straight. I know. It's been good, man. We had our tryouts January 3rd, right after New Year.
Was Gooch there?
Nah, I shut that down. Anybody over 45.
I sent my application though.
That went straight to the trash bin.
Wow.
No, but it was good. So we had our tryouts went well. We had over 100 kids show up. So that was great. There's some talent that we saw to add to the talent that we already have and that'll play for us this year. But yeah, man, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm right now. I'm focusing on the business side of it, so really trying to speak to the city. Partnerships, sponsorships,
Sponsorships.
those kind of things. Trying to set up, the community. That's a big thing. Talking to the city, seeing how we can help and how Fort Wayne FC can be a part of the community in a big way, and really try to create change and really
How's the
do things
response?
that it's been great. It's been great. So we've that's what I'm focused on at the moment. So the soccer part is kind of taking a backstay on my part. On my part. So we have our general manager and our coach is really taking the reins on the football part as far as putting the team together. So I haven't had too much to do on that part on that end because I want this year to be about learning, how to put partnerships together, put the team together as far as what we do off the field.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's just as important as being on the field and being successful. So that's what
that's
I've
beautiful, man.
been
That's
doing. So it's a
beautiful.
lot of meetings, a lot of talks, but it's been great. I've been learning a lot, and I really have our ownership group. I really have some smart people that I'm working with, so I'm happy.
Big shouts to them. Big shouts to them, man. And we missed you this year, Onyx Elite. Usually, yeah, you get an excuse this year because you have to go to Fort Wayne and you have to take care of your business. But we will see you there next year.
Yeah,
But
how was it? How was the Onyx Elite?
It was lit, man. It was our fourth year running it. You came there, I think the second or third
Second
year.
year, yeah.
This year, unfortunately, we had to postpone the women's side because of logistics and COVID. But we had over 35 players for the men's side. It was a great turnout. A number of USL representatives, coaches, scouts, as well as NISA scouts representatives came out, and it was, for me to date, it was the best one yet. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a lot of the players finding teams and us being able to facilitate their playing contracts moving forward. So hopefully we can build something that we've no. If my request went to the bin, yours ain't
You don't have wait, so you don't have no players for Fort Wayne FC? You don't have no players for my club?
Oh! I thought you were talking about you trying to find a club. Hey,
Nah,
man,
my playing days are over.
Man, we got a number of players that you should be interested in taking a look at. So that's what we are. We're trying to be facilitators and try to open doors for these players. Because a lot of them are players that fall through the cracks because they don't go through the orthodox means of soccer, whether it be the academy system or whatever. And that's, a lot of them are talented. They just need that opportunity. So that's why, me, Mookie, Michael Ensign was there, Ryan Thompson, Tomas Serta,
Chris
Gorez, my business partner. That's why we put this on, to be able to open opportunities for these kids that otherwise wouldn't have seen it. So
and
it was
I want to
great.
say not all kids. We had we had a 32-year-old this year as well, B. So it's never too late.
Oh, word? Yeah, never too late.
It's too late for bees. It's too late for bees.
No, but I like what you said though, and that's about the create opportunities. I mean, obviously we've now that we're older, we're trying to not so much give back, but create opportunities for players that we didn't have when we were growing up. You know what I'm saying? We were blessed with an area where we could succeed as far as like ODP and this and that. But sometimes there's players that like you said, they fall through the cracks. And in my club, and this is one of my owners, he's going to create this outreach program. And it's something that is really phenomenal. And just trying to find those players, free of charge. They don't have to pay for nothing. Trying to find those players that can play and that they can't afford it. Because now it's that play to play model and this and that. So we want to make sure we're looking over every rock to find gyms and find players. So I mean, I really appreciate what you guys are doing at Honest Elite. I think that's great. It's something that is very needed in this country to find players that aren't so much in the spotlight every week in different leagues or different parts of the world.
Yeah,
Definitely, man. Go ahead, Q. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, our country is so big, right? We're pretty much a continent, and so it's inevitable that you can't scout everybody. You can't see all the talent. You can't do all that. So
right.
I think what you're doing, initiatives like what you're doing. Charlie just started his own franchise. How we're trying to put together this this program in Onyx in terms of the off season. I think more people need to start doing it and stop looking at it as a competition type thing. You know, there's not competition when you're helping the next generation. It's all about collaboration. So, you know, I'm happy for it. I think it went great. Mookie could tell you. He was Coach Mookie.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Coach Mookie. Coach.
It was excellent, man. And again, from the players to the coaching staff, it was just a great vibe. Everybody dropped their egos, put their heads down, and worked. And it was just an incredible environment and a breath of fresh air coming off a COVID year to be able to have a great facility at the Water Sports Complex and to have it ran tip top. And that's due to all the hard work that Gucci has done. And then again, the coaching staff was amazing, and the players were amazing. Everybody was receptive, and it was all the way around. It was all the way around a blessing. And the most important part, you follow safety protocols, and everybody came out of there safe. I think that's the biggest thing in the world. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Enid Kepron. I can't talk. Enid Kepron Primary School in Turks and Caicos. I was blessed enough to go down there and give away some balls on behalf of American Challenge and Football to Clothing. And I just want to say big up to Andrew Edwards, a national team coach who helped put that together, as well as Dane Ritchie and the principal at the primary school. And we're looking forward to doing more things in the future to encourage the game and help the ones that need it. And we can always do that through football. So we're not just trying to make a difference here in the country, but across the world. I know my brothers will support and do it as well. But fellas,
Wait. We talk about Fort Wayne. We talk about Onyx. Man, footballer was doing some stuff too, aside from being overseas. I mean, you over here interviewing big timers at the coaching convention. I mean, you going to try and skip over that?
Yeah. Oh man, that was pretty cool, Gooch. I mean, you and I both had opportunity to sit on a panel and deal with this digital convention. But it definitely was it was pretty great to sit down with Robin Fraser, who's one of the most successful coaches, not just Black, not just minority, but in the country as a whole. The biggest thing for me is that my uncle coached him as a youth in South Florida, and my uncle passed away 2 years ago. So for me to get a chance to kind of bring things full circle and on a platform like United Soccer Coaches Convention was pretty dope and special for me. So it was bigger than just interviewing him. It's really just kind of like doing something for my uncle and also a family situation. So we all are blessed, man. I love to take the opportunity to introduce our guest for today, Watford legend, but also Birmingham finest. Let's give it up to my boy, Mr. Troy Deeney. What up, boss? What up, Troy?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. You was on mute for a minute.
You guys.
Yeah, you can't hear us now?
Can't hear nothing.
You can't hear us? What about now?
I think that might be my end though. Wait there.
Yeah.
Put that volume up.
And bring that bottle closer.
I got you.
Yes.
Got you. Sorry, I was doing some recording earlier. I left the microphone plugged in.
That's what's up. What's up, Troy?
I'm all right. Thank you, guys. How are you guys doing?
Man, we're safe.
All right.
We're good, man. How you feeling, man?
Life's good. I can't complain. Got the kids and the missus is all happy, so life's good.
so life is easy now. Life is easy, man. So Troy, you're still balling for Watford, man. It's been 11 years, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting old, ain't I? I'm getting old.
Nah. Tell the truth.
You know what? It's fun, and the guys will tell you when you're still playing, it's still fun. It's still enjoying it.
Definitely.
Everything hurts a little bit more. It takes a bit longer to recover, but I'm still enjoying it. I was in the gym about an hour ago, funny enough, just like it's my day off. So I'm just putting the work in still. And while I've still got that feeling, I'm still going to keep going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Bees played 20 years, so you got 9 more, brother.
I tell you one thing. I wasn't in the gym much. That's all Gooch. Gooch is in the gym doing push-ups and sit-ups
right now.
Man, I had to freaking battling cats like Troy, but trying to bully me every damn time, man. Shoot. I ain't have a choice.
Different body shapes. Let's just put it that way.
There you go.
Yo, man. So what's going on in England right now with COVID and the shutdowns? Obviously, it looks like your barber is shut down right now, just like Damarcus over here.
Yeah, keep it rough.
It's getting to that point when I'm starting to let the missus do it. So the missus was trimming this up the other day. Nah, it's a tough time, obviously, for everyone, and the world is obviously shut down and struggling. But I know in the States, obviously, you guys have got different states that are open and operating under different laws. But here it's total shutdown, and they said nothing until March now. So the kids aren't at school, nothing's really open.
Wow.
You order your shopping, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's tough, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm blessed. Like, got family around me. I live in a nice house. I've got gym, pool, all of that. So I'm in a very fortunate position that I know a lot of people in this country aren't. So I'm never going to complain, but I would certainly like to have some form of freedom back. And I think that's why we've all gone to work, to earn a certain amount of money so we can have not only financial freedom, but freedom with our time. And I feel like that's been taken away at this moment in time.
Have you had anybody close to you, really get sick or potentially, pass away from
like, me and my missus had it early.
Oh, wow.
Like,
How did it feel?
Yeah, it was mad. That mashed me up. It was like March last year. We had
early.
So we had it early, but it was more like before the symptoms had all come out.
Right.
But I thought I had like a mad chest infection, and I'm that kind of guy. I don't do like tablets or nothing. So I was trying to carry on, and I went in the gym and I ran for like 10 minutes and I was throwing up and everything. I was outside heaving, I couldn't breathe. I was like, that's something's not right. And I spent about 6 days in bed after that. But once all of this started coming out about it, it basically smashed up my immune system. So I ended up having like kidney problems and having to have like, sorry, what's that thing called again? I had the camera up there, you know what? Colonoscopies and all of that. Check out everything was what like the functions were working. So it was a bad time, man, and that's why I take it so seriously. And I hope she don't mind, but my missus in the high vulnerable category, like as an ex-cancer patient. So, and my son, who's 1 year old now, has got like breathing difficulties and like was born with like earlier and a heart murmur and stuff. So we totally take it seriously around this part. So it's tough, man. It's tough times. But you can't really say these things in the UK because people always go like, "Oh, he's looking for an excuse or want you to feel sorry for him." But I'm not really that guy. But because I'm talking to you, like I'm told I can be as open as I want.
Yeah. Hey, one thing. This is the crack. This podcast all goes.
So that's why Alicia said it'd be good because I'm normally sensitive. Like she's sitting right behind the screen. Like normally she's like, you can't say
that. Have you completely recovered? Do you feel better? Everything?
Yeah. I'm all good, thank you. We're just taking the measures, but it took me about 6 weeks to get back up to fitness, and I'd say like a few issues with the kidneys and that now, but we're back to full health, and thankfully the family's all good. So you have to give thanks, man, and just be grateful.
Yeah, that's what upsets me when I hear some people like, oh, it's just like the flu, oh, this and that. I'm like, you obviously haven't been touched by it, or somebody close to you hasn't.
And that's the biggest thing. And I'm probably going to jump a little bit, but that's the same when it comes to like racism and offense. Like until it affects you, you don't change or feel anything. Like, so I'm probably changing subjects a little bit, but if you talk about race, for example, if you try to ask white people to feel how we feel when a racist slur is, they're not going to feel that because they've never had that.
Yep.
Do you get what I mean? So when I see people like their families are dying and stuff, you're like, nah, man, that must feel awful. But other people are like, nah, it's just the flu. Like you say, it's just the flu. It's whatever. It's like, dude, these people can't even go to funerals.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like,
they can't even bury their loved ones. Yeah.
Wild, man. And we're all just praying that, and everyone was like, oh, I can't wait till next year, as if it's just going to disappear.
Already on that down. Can't wait for next year.
Exactly. But man, I'm happy that you were able to recover, and your missus was able to recover, and your children are all safe. Just like you said, you're blessed, and everybody here on this podcast right now, we're blessed that, we're not part of a statistic, a bad statistic of it,
Yeah, so. Here in New York, we had it bad, man. And, initially we were the first state to really get crushed, the hospitals. And it felt like every week we had family members or friends of myself, their parents not only getting sick but passing away. But do you feel safe, and do you feel the protocols of what the championship has provided for you guys keeps you guys safe and your family safe?
Yeah, I would say so. We're tested 3 times a week now,
Mm.
so that is obviously good. I think I can only speak on Watford because obviously each club operates differently, but
Yeah.
Watford have got a system in place now where it's minimal. So they're even gone to the levels now that they'll get our shopping for us if that's what you feel like you need. So they'll get it delivered to the training ground. They've got in touch with a local supermarket, get delivered to the training ground, and then it'll go straight into your car. So less contact. And ultimately, let's be honest, it's a business, isn't it? So they want to look after us as much as they can to keep the money rolling in and keep everyone paid. And that's ultimately what we're doing this for. We started off as love, but we all it's a business at the end of the day. Now we have to look after our families.
I wonder, are they doing that? Are they doing that with MLS clubs? Mook, do you know?
No.
Like as far as the clubs, you know, they can they're partnered with a grocery store or
MLS hasn't started yet. Obviously, when they had the bubble in the summer, they had everybody enclosed. So now I'm sure they're going to learn and take notes from what they're doing in England and try to provide it. But that's something we don't know yet because the preseason hasn't started and you haven't had that opportunity yet. You know, so
Troy, what's the feeling like playing in a stadium with no fans at all?
Oh.
Like you guys try to imagine there are, or like
no. So they went through a little spell at the very start. So when we was in the Premier League, like obviously we got relegated last year, but we did like Project Restart, it was called, and they did the whole like fake noise kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was the most annoying thing I've ever heard in my life because they're trying to do it like prompted because you could only do it when the ball was out of play. So you imagine how quick it is. A ball goes out for throwing. There's somebody pressing a button, and then the throw is already come back in, and they're pressing the button to stop it. Yeah, it just kind of got a bit silly, but it's become the new normal now. I think, and I don't know if you use that term out there, but everything here is like the new normal. That's all that you keep hearing is the new normal, the new normal. We're certainly missing fans. We had a small segment, maybe about was it December? Yeah. It was December where they had 2,000 fans allowed back in. And it looked like we were going to start introducing and building a safer way back to normality.
Another wave came.
We've obviously had another shutdown again. So when we had the 2,000 fans in, that's when you realised how much fans are important because it was so like, that noise, that going out to warm up and you've got like 1,000 people there, like, now we're playing football. Now there's competition. You get what I mean? It's like, But when we play now, you are trying to generate that atmosphere yourselves, and obviously I watch the NBA a lot as well. You can see that be reflected with the scoring and the games and the way that people have, like teams have beaten teams. And that would never happen if there were fans there. Do you get what I mean?
Blowouts, a lot of blowouts.
It's all coming different.
So you who play with so much intensity and so much shit talking on the field, can you hear everything now? Like your defender can cuss you, you hear it, you know?
Yeah. So I've been warned a couple of times from home because apparently you could hear everything that I say, and I swear quite a lot. Let's just put it that way. So the missus has said to me on numerous occasions, like, enough now. Like I could hear you telling, like, you're calling someone like a piece of shit. Like, or I can do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, Troy, you're the only one with a Birmingham accent. Like, it's you.
Troy, I want to get into Birmingham. You know, we're coming from the States, and we only know what it is to be a black player playing in a predominantly white sport in America, but also a very suburban sport. What is tell us a little bit about Birmingham and what's that's like? You know, I haven't got a chance to hang out in Birmingham before.
I'm smiling because my missus she's from London, so it's like
I know Brixton.
Washington and you know what I mean, like Washington and New York, like you're always gonna go like, London's better. So she thinks London is like everything's creme de la creme.
Yeah.
I think it's a piece of shit, but it's whatever. No, but like you see, I grew up very like, I wouldn't say poor, but I was definitely on the low income housing side of things. So council estate background, dad in and out of jail, mum working as many jobs as possible to keep me and my siblings, above flow. And I'm very tempted not to use the word poor, because I understand poor in America means poor, like you can't go hospital, anything. So I understand that the bread line's completely different. But for me, yeah, it was tough growing up. Like I had to learn to grow up at a very young age. My council estate that I grew up on was up until like the mid 80s was the biggest in Europe. Was the biggest council estate in Europe.
Was the biggest what? What is that?
It's like like you
Projects?
call it project.
Yeah.
We call
Okay.
it
Housing
sorry.
projects.
Yeah.
We call it.
Sorry.
I learned something new though.
Yeah, they're called like council. We call them council estates here because it's where the government pay for you to live.
Yeah.
But it's all high-rise flats, all of that kind of stuff. So mine was the biggest in Europe, where I grew up for a long time. And yeah, like not much has changed. I took my partner back there maybe about a year ago, and like not much has changed. It's got less shops and just more people there.
So how did you deal with the distraction? It's very tough, I know for us when we were growing up to deal with the distractions, to actually play ball and distractions of your neighborhood.
Yeah,
so a little bit of how you.
So like my dad was known in the area. He was a somebody, and he made it so, like, to put it into context, we can't have his last name.
Yeah,
that's how known he is.
Yeah.
So if we went to, like, even when I got arrested, which we'll get to later on, they were like, "Oh, you're Berkey's son." Like they knew who I was before I even got there, so they were like, "You're gonna be trouble." But obviously, I'm cut from a different cloth to my dad, so it's completely different. But so he made it like, you don't do what you do as I say, not what I do. And then for every time that he was away, we was always told, like, my mom was an angel. Like we never knew he was away because he was gone so much. You never knew he was away. So she would always say, like, "Oh, your dad's gone on a business trip or he's gone here." So as a young kid, he didn't know any different. And I told my partner this story. Like I was about 7 or 8, and my brother was like 3 years younger than me. We had bunk beds back in the day, like one on top of the other. Yeah. And we lived in this flat, and it's about 6 in the morning, and all you heard was like banging, and what's all going on here? And then, like, my dad's come through the door, like through our bedroom door, but he's fighting 2 police officers.
Oh man!
And it's like 6 in the morning. Yeah. We're like, what's going on? He's like, everybody's getting arrested. Like, don't worry, dad's just playing with his friends. Go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And like, we're like, huh? Yeah. Let's go back to sleep. We go back to sleep. Wake up. Where's dad? Oh, he's got to play football. And then he come home like 3 months later.
Was he a baller though? Was he a footballer? Was dad a footballer?
Nah, my dad. No. He was
strictly street.
Man of many talents, shall we say? But never had a legal job and never had a passport. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. The lengths that your mother had to take to protect you and your mind. You know, not just like your lifestyle, but your mind as a child, and that's a credit to her. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
That's not easy.
But it's always like, you're gonna go to school. It wasn't, see, in America, how I perceive it, I could be massively wrong. Yeah. It's like you go to school because the school education will get you a job of some kind at the end. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in the UK, it's more who you know that will get you the better jobs, more than so where, like, in my whole family, only one person's been to university in my whole family. So we didn't know school. We didn't know, all we knew is how to make money. Do you get what I mean? Does that make sense? So we told, like, for me, I didn't finish school because I had a few issues, and like, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but like my dad, like, he was on coke at the time, lost his head and beat me and my mum up. That's why I never get my teeth done. Like teeth were jagged because he broke my jaw and threw my teeth when I was like 11 years old. And like, I've just had like a crazy upbringing, and I've always had to be the man of the house from like 12, 13 years old. So I was out doing what I needed to do to provide for me and my family, and make sure that my brothers and sisters had a better life than what I currently had at that moment. So yeah, man, it was a tough time, but it certainly molded me to be the person and character that I am. But also it's hindered me in certain aspects as well, in terms of like loving relationships. I'm building all of that now because I never really saw it as a kid.
So what got you to fall in love with the game? If your father didn't influence it, where was the influence really coming from?
He made us play football.
Okay.
Oh, he made us play football. So you guys probably had the same
that was a way out.
Ball or basketball, you got to play.
Yeah.
And we always had to play with the older kids.
Yeah.
So we were 6 and we were playing with 10, 11-year-olds. And he would say kick him. If he cries, kick him again.
Kick him again.
So we had that upbringing, but football was never my passion. I liked it, but my younger brother, who's 4 years younger than me, he's the footballer. He was at an academy from a young age.
Yeah.
And did it all professionally, did it all proper. Do you know what I mean? And our whole family was whatever Ellis needs, that's my brother. Whatever Ellis needs, we do.
Yeah.
So I used to go and watch training, watch what they were learning, take the ball back home. Right, let's work with you. How are you going to get it?
Nice.
If you could push me out the way, I was 3-4 years older. If you can push me out the way, you're going to push anyone that's your age out the way. So it was always building up to make him do it. So I would leave school early to get him and my sister while my mum was finishing work, walk them home, feed him, get him ready for football. We go. Do you get what I mean? Everything was pinned around. Ellis was our savior, our way out.
Yeah.
And football was just a joke to me. I generally just wanted to be liked. I wanted to be the cool kid.
Yeah.
As long as I could hang out with my friends, get a girl every now and again, I'm cool.
You're good.
Do you know what I mean?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, he looks over to his girl can I say that?
No, don't worry. She's heard it all. So that's where all these scars have come from.
That's crazy, man. But I would say that, would you say, okay, obviously you're from Birmingham, right?
Mm-hmm.
You and your wife, you guys came from different places. She's from London, from the South. She's a little more, let's say, polished. That's a
great word to use. But at the same time, she went to school in New York, so she's got a little bit of attitude. Mm-hmm. But I'm just looking at her right now. I'm trying to just bring her down a level or two. So.
Yeah, we know about New Yorkers on this show.
Exactly, exactly.
The attitude we know about that.
Would you say at this point in your life, in your career, you're finding a balance of, obviously you're a figure. You're almost like the Maldini of Watford. You've been there for so long, right? So, but I think it's a balance of knowing where you came from and where you are, not forgetting where you came from, but realizing, you can't be that person, but that person needs to push you to where you need to go.
Totally, but where that affects me more?
Yeah.
In football, I've built up a persona.
Yeah.
So I'm Troy Deeney. I'm the Instagram page. What you see on Instagram is what that persona is. But it's Troy that struggles. Do you get what I'm saying? I still got my same friends that I grew up with, all 5 of us. There's not that many, I promise you. But that's where I struggle because mentally, I'm still the same dude. Just happened to make a bit more money along the way. But my partner will tell you, it could be road rage. Bib the horn with somebody and the guy's I'm who the fuck you talking to?
Yeah.
You play football, right? I'm sorry. I have to bring myself back in, but it's letting those things go and learning to talk. Because I grew up, again, probably the same as you guys, grew up in where you didn't speak.
It was slang.
You don't say nothing, even when you're wrong. So a little story about a year ago when the car got broken into. Mm-hmm. So about 2 years ago, the car got broken into at one of our other houses, and she came down, and my first thought was all right, I need to phone my boy because my boy will know who did it.
Yeah.
But her dad was there, and I was trying to be the new Troy, this polished individual.
You have to call police, say follow the proper protocol.
So I've gone what do we do? She's phone the police. I've all right, phone the police. Yeah. We're going to send you a number. Huh? And the phone just went dead. So I turned to her, that's it. She's so wait, I didn't get my stuff back. Now I've got to file insurance. I got to claim more on my insurance because I've claimed. And that's what the police do.
It's called being a citizen. It's called being a citizen, Troy.
Yeah, I could just told my friend I'd had it back in an hour.
Yeah, right. That's what I was about to say.
But it's those moments of, as you do say, like remembering who you are. And I think who you are shapes you to an extent. But as the evolution of us as individuals, like in my case, being a father, being a partner, and just trying to be a better individual, you realize that you have more responsibilities and expectation. Because I'm seen as a role model, but I don't personally see myself as one. I try and tell people to look at other people. But when they start talking about my life story, and like I say, going to jail and doing all these other different things, you've shown people a way out. Now you have a responsibility to be a better version of you. So I start taking that a lot more seriously now, to the point where I'm not sure if I said this. I get invited I've been invited to Parliament. I've been in like speaking there, trying to impact change with racism and all these different boards and meetings. That was never part of my script. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? But I've had to change my language and change my delivery, because I'm not big. I'm only 6 foot tall, like just about 6 foot, but I'm quite a big, intimidating person. So people would always be a bit wary of me. It's only when through Zoom, funny enough, that over the last year or two, people have now gone, oh, he's actually smart and we can talk to him. Mm-hmm. Because beforehand, as you guys know, being of our colour and of our description, there's already a stigma attached to that, where people are already standoffish. And then you got someone like me that don't give a fuck and says what I want. They go, no, we're just going to avoid that guy.
It's funny because there's a bunch of professional athletes, I'll name even Charles Barkley, who says, oh, I never signed up to be a role model. And that might be true, but as soon as you assume the public eye and what you're doing, you're automatically a role model, whether you like it or not, right? Mm-hmm. And I think as former professional, me and B's former professional players, as you a current professional player, obviously, it's an obligation. You know, first of all, it's not a right to be a professional player. It's a privilege. It's a privilege, right? And you don't want to take advantage of it. And at the same time, you got to use it to the best of the time frame that you have. And why would you squander it by not teaching the next of how to be, what you shouldn't have done, what you would have done, and using your platform like you're doing like now currently, and for the betterment, and understanding that whether I wanted to be a role model or not, there's people that are going to look at me as a role model. You know, that's just the reality of the situation.
I think I'd be interested to get your guys' take on this. So my perception is trying to be a better version of me. Yeah. And within that, if I can, I call it a snowball effect. So if I make this snowball and I pass on a little bit of information, it might land to 1 or 2, but that 1 or 2 then might land to 6 and so on and so forth. And the snowball gets bigger and bigger. So within that, how do you feel, especially over in the States, because I understand it's completely different, how do you feel ownership, not only, because I think when people talk about ownership, they think about businesses and homes, ownership of self and self-worth should be at the forefront?
We'll let Bees answer this one.
No, I think that's, you're right. I think with really knowing who you are and where you came from, and not forgetting that part of it, and still trying to educate and improve our young people. I think that's a big must, because we all grew up in different backgrounds. We all grew up different ways. And I think just having the ownership of knowing your worth and knowing who you are as a strong Black man, and whether it's business, whether it's sport, whether it's whatever you're into, I think that's a huge advantage for us, that if you know your worth and you know what you can give to the younger generation, I think that's a huge plus.
I think it's also important that, especially the time we're in now, I think we realize that we don't have to lie anymore, Troy. We don't have to have 2 different lives. We don't have to be, who we are in our neighborhood or amongst our friends, and then who we are in the football differently. I think we can show growth, but at the same time, like you said, and what you're doing is that you're not shying away from the past that you had, and you're trying to make sure that helps and that shows the person, the character you are. But I think for me, people like yourself and the things you've gone through and things we all went through, people can learn so much more from our mistakes. I think that's the value, right? If we come off like we're just this perfect individual, we had a perfect come up and this is how you make it, that's not reality, right? And so like even in this podcast, I didn't want to come on just and talk about you going to jail, but I want to come on and talk about what you have learned and how we can help the next generation of young footballers, because they're getting money earlier. They're having way more distractions than we had. Imagine if we had social media in the start of our careers. It would be ridiculous, right? We would have all been in trouble. We had no endorsements, you know?
No, do you know what? Sorry to cut you there. Do you know what I believe as well is it's now a case of like, while the understanding is happening, like you said, we're in a place now where the mask's been lifted due to COVID. It's been lifted. You can't post all the pictures like you're at this place or I'm at that place.
Yeah.
So you touched on it within that. It's the process that's not being shown enough for me.
Yeah.
It's always the finished article. And I've said it a few times, a little bit crude, and I apologize, but you never see anyone posted taking a shit.
Yep.
But we all do it.
Yep.
But you'll never go on anyone in Instagram and it's like, just started my day. But we all do it.
Just started my day.
You get what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We all do that, but we all want to show you the nice car, the outfit, the trainers, or the holiday destination. But how about we show all the bullshit that we've had to go through, the injuries, the tears.
Yeah.
Like in my case, the not having a lot of time at home, like missing kids growing up and not being here when the kids start walking and things of that nature. Like, we don't highlight that part of it enough, I don't feel, because we're always now in the Instagram world of, here's the end product, look, we're great. There may have been 10 letdowns beforehand.
I'm glad you brought that up, Troy, because recently a former Liverpool player, I don't know if you know Jordan Ibe, just came out talking about his depression and things he's been going through recently. And again, that's being vulnerable. But again, that can help so many people, and using Instagram for the good, instead of him hiding away and maybe showing, all the good stuff he's going through. He was vulnerable to come out there. Have you ever dealt with any type of depression or low moments mentally? And if you did, how did you get through that?
Yeah, I had one, was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, like 2 weeks ago when they announced this new lockdown. And that's the thing, like, I can honestly say I've never been depressed or suffered with depression, because I think that's multifaceted and is layered to different people. I have down days. Literally, when they started talking about another lockdown, I'm like, this shit again.
Yeah.
Did we not just get through? Do you know what I mean? Like, have I not just got through that? So yeah, it gets to me. And as I said, I'm very blessed. I live in a beautiful home, and I get food cooked for me, and I can do everything, but I can't do anything.
Yeah.
To get what I'm saying within that, I felt like I was trapped within myself, and I felt bad for the kids and for the missus as well. Like, people don't understand how much this is going to impact our children. Like, it's huge. They're not only with the learning and the education, but the social skills. They're probably not going to want to go out as much anymore because they've got used to staying inside, and a lot of it is learned behaviors. A lot of the things we do is learned behaviors. So I have tough moments. Like, sorry, I keep going back to jail, but all of it kind of in the same time frame. So I lost my nan, my granddad, and my dad in 18 months. But when I buried so I found out my dad was going to be sick. It was sick, at the end of February, and he died in May. So it was a real quick turnaround in terms of when he died. I buried him on the Friday. I went to jail on the Monday.
Did you already a professional player when you went to jail?
Yeah, it was 22.
You were playing with who?
Watford. It was at Watford.
He's at Watford already.
Yeah. So it was my second year at Watford.
How did the club respond? I never see anybody ask you that question. How did the club respond when you told them, listen, I gotta go in for 3 months?
Do you know what I did? So the court system in the UK is a little bit different. So you get arrested, obviously, at the scene of the crime, and go through that process. And I already knew, like, I was in a bad way. Like, I was probably defeated at that moment. I was drinking daily, like drinking Jack Daniels daily. I was just in a bad place. I'm not gonna lie. I just had so much emotion that I hadn't dealt with or untangled that I was angry. I was aggressive. I showed the missus some pictures of me at that age, and it was just if you got in my way, I was just gonna take you out.
Yeah.
It could have been anything. You stood on my shoe, you was getting it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You blocked me in when you was just stopping to park the car, you was getting it. So I should never have went out, but I did. we got into that situation, and I just basically pled guilty at the scene, like when they arrested me and after they fucked me up. They basically just said to me, like, what do you want to do? I went, look, I'm guilty. I plead guilty. I take the charges for everyone. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. They put 4 of us, me, my best friend, my brother, and his best friend, we had a trial, and then you get to the trial date, and it's your sentence there and then. But I already knew I was going to jail. My solicitor said, you're going. It's just how minimal we could get you. And that's why we took the guilty plea straight away, because in the UK they can't change your what they're trying you on. I was going down for a fray, but they were trying to change it to GBH. But
you can't bring it down.
Yeah, once you've already pled guilty to it, you can't change it. So we went guilty on the lesser charge, because that carried a maximum of 2.5 years, I think. Whereas GBH was 8 to 10 years.
If you're convicted.
So when I went to court, the judge literally said, like, why is he only on this? After watching the video, why is he only on this case? He should be on GBH. So thankfully, we didn't take it to trial and try and be clever, because I wouldn't be here to tell the tale. I would have been put away for at least 4 or 5 years, easy.
Definitely. Yeah, man. I mean, again, I think your story is one that should be told, because I'm just wondering, like, and scared, especially after this lockdown is over, when these young boys with money, these young boys who are footballers get out, and we all, had our club years and doing South Beach, Miami, London, and doing it.
Why you got to throw my name in it?
And Troy.
We've all done Miami.
Yeah, exactly. and I wanted to ask you about that, and your experiences coming to the States, but I don't want to get into a little bit of football before you have to go. But one thing we was discussing earlier.
Oh, I've got time. Don't worry. As long as you've got time, I've got time. So
one thing I wanted to talk to you about, our discussion earlier, was your boy David Beckham hired Phil Neville as the Inter Miami coach. And, all applause to Phil Neville. I'm sure he's a great manager, but we wondered if not having so much.
You see his face?
not having so much head coaching experience, right? And especially on the male side.
Yeah, drink that tea, boy.
You're about to get me started. This is coming up.
David Beckham had the audacity to say that this man was the best qualified person for the job. And we all know working in South Beach with a team in the MLS is a job that I'm sure many managers would love to have. And they try to tell us that
I'm quitting. If you offer me that job,
but give us your thought process on that hiring, and also what you know about Phil Neville and him coming over.
I can't talk about him personally, because I don't know him personally. I've never interacted with him. But ultimately, it's mate. You know what it is? It's giving mate a job, like friends with benefits, isn't it? It's that. He didn't do great as England women's coach, and then he walked out of that straight into another job. But this takes me to, I was on 2 calls previously, and a lot of the calls I've been doing recently is about the hiring process for people of color within sport, or within football. Where was that job? Like, where did you apply for that job? Where was it advertised?
Yeah.
That, like, and this is only one aspect of it, and solely because you've mentioned Beckham and Neville that we talk about it, but it's a wider problem. Like, where are the jobs advertised? Do you know where to go and do that? I know Watford inside out. I've been there 10 years. I couldn't tell you how to apply for a job within Watford. So that's a bigger issue and a bigger problem that we all have to deal with and talk about. So yeah, I agree with Beckham saying it in my opinion. He's saying it over. He knows me. He knows what I want. He's got with some experience, so he could deliver that project. So he probably was the best for him. But you haven't scoured looking for that. As you say, in America right now, I think Florida's one of the states that's like pretty open, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. So they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about this damn pandemic.
Yeah, so I'm saying, if they said to you right now, there's a job offer to go and work in Miami, probably good wage.
Very.
You interested?
And you know, around the world, anybody who wouldn't want to work in South Beach as a manager, you know,
Who wouldn't want to work for Beckham?
Exactly.
There you
So
go.
this is what I'm saying. So all the processes, and it's funny because if you'd have got me like 10 minutes before, I was in my pro-black Malcolm X phase, you was going to get me. But it comes down to that. Like, where is that balance ever going to happen if ownership are still going to go down the mates, like horses for courses, and give friends with benefits jobs, and we're never going to get in, and we're never going to book the trend.
My Gooch did a little research. He's the scholar of this podcast, and he did a little research. I want him to share that. I mean, you might know, or to share that with everybody else, Gooch, as you told us earlier.
All right, what I did a quick digging is, all right, Phil Neville, like you said, I don't know him personally. He could be the best manager there is in America.
He's not.
Time.
I'll say you're being nice.
But I did a little research, and he did some assistant coaching at the U20s and the youth leagues, youth levels in England, correct? On the assistant side. And then after that,
I'm just waiting for the application.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we're thrown out the door at this point.
Right. Yeah. We're already thrown out. So then after that, he went to Valencia when his brother Gary was the head coach. So he was assistant there. And
how long did that last?
Oh man.
Not even
3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just giving you more background.
Yeah.
And then from there, then he went to coach the women's team. Right. And then the women's, they had a decent run in the World Cup. They lost to us in the semifinals. I don't know, aside from that World Cup tournament, how he's done on with the women's team. Aside from
it's been under pressure here from the women's league for that, because the women's team is good. Obviously, the States team is that, and Brazil probably the two best women's teams out there. But
you guys are good. You guys are good.
So he's always been under pressure from that. But like, even just going through the resume there, take that as like he got a job at Valencia. That was working.
Oh, I'm not finished yet.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I just needed confirmation, so I wasn't wrong.
Yeah. Go. Right. I'm gonna give it you.
So also, he's co-owner of a League Two team called Salford City, where Beckham's also one of the co-owners, where his brother and some of the other Manchester legends.
Is it class of 96 or class of 96?
Yeah. They're all like co-owners in this League Two side. So then I'm like, all right. Then I looked at Valencia. One of the co-owners of Salford City is also this guy named Peter Lim, who's also the owner of Valencia when he went there. And then now
he's the money man. We're not allowed to talk about it, but he's the money man.
And then now he went to Inter Miami, where Beckham is his friend. And for me, I was like, look, I would prefer if Beckham said, look, I know him, I trust him, I want him to be, instead of saying he's
sorry, it's a class of 92. I said 96, it's a class of 92.
Yeah.
Sorry. But that is so, just interrupt. That's the problem though. It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Everything you've just said is all intertwined within, this is our money, we're going to look after it with our people.
So it's a bit of nepotism,
all around.
But it goes back to what we was talking about. When we talk about race and with black people, we're all about ownership. But we can't own anything if at this moment in time we're still at the foundational level of ownership. What you're just talking about there is they own a football team in England, they own a football team in America, they've got hotels. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's all these different things where we're at foundation level. So what we have to do is book the system and get in at entry level, i.e. playing where we're already overpopulated.
Yeah.
Management, we're not represented at all. Coaching, board level, ownership. Like, we're on tier 1 of 5.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I think we have to respect the fact that these guys have played football and made a lot of money and done their thing. And let's be honest, if we was in that position, we would love to own football teams. So you give them credit where it's due. But at the same time, when you talk about race, we're not even on the same page, not even on the same
conversation. Joy, they quick to say that, we didn't hire any minorities because we didn't see any minorities with any experience. But so many times they get jobs with no experience.
Zero.
So how do you get experience?
So here's a quick one.
That's what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
There's a number of unbelievable former Black English players, right? We can go down the list. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it or he didn't deserve it or whatever, but then Lampard and Gerrard get these high-profile head coaching jobs. I think Lampard was at where was he before Chelsea? He was at Derby, yeah. He's at Derby before, and then even now, Rooney.
Rooney's going to train at Derby as well,
yeah. Head coach. So I'm thinking like, Saul Campbell, Ashley Cole, like all these.
It's too many.
Michael Essien, like all these players that were just at, like I said prior to you coming, at par or better in their playing career, that also want these opportunities at head coaching. They're just not seeing it.
And again, that's part of the process, and what I'm personally fighting for now is we need to get some transparency with what is the process of hiring and firing.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's what we talked about earlier before you came on. That was one of my comments was, are these clubs? Well, we need these clubs to be transparent. You know what I'm saying? Are they really casting a wide net and looking at African Americans, people of color, trying to find the best option, not the option that from down the street because you have a drink with them at the bar or the pub, or a guy you grew up with, but really the best option, and if the best option is an African American, a black person, hire the man. Give him a chance. You give everyone else a chance. You give everyone else with less experience the chance instead of hiring someone that has color. And that just boggles my mind.
Yeah, the biggest thing to attach to that is, so I've just been part of a process with about 8 other former players like Ian Wright and people of that nature, Johnny Lescott, like people like that, where we're now doing the Premier League are putting together a coaching scheme for young black coaches to get into football clubs at a lower level, and they're paying for that, so they're already through the door. But part of the thing is for me is that they need mentoring from people like us who previously paid, and to explain to them that, look, you do know you are going into a situation where people already know you've been given a ticket. Whether you like to call it as it, we got to call it as it is. They're seeing you as the black guy that got given a chance.
Yep.
So not only that, you better be fucking good.
The pressure, yeah.
And just like, we've got to tell them the truth. Like, you fail, we all fail, because they're going to turn around at the end of it and go, well, we give 6 people opportunity, none of them did anything.
Yep.
So we have to be real with it and understand, like I always say to my partner, like, we're sitting on a seesaw and it's heavily favored in their favor, but we already know that. So that don't mean we don't play the game, just means we got to play the game even harder.
But Troy, we were raised that way, right? We were raised as footballers, as human beings, that we have to be twice, 3 times, 10 times better than the Caucasians. So I don't think that changes when you go into the coaching field. Unfortunately, that's not fair. It's sad you have to tell your kids that too.
Yeah, but it does change when you get the coaching and managerial jobs, because they're even harder than the percentage of us being a player was already 0.5. Us getting to being a manager or a coach is 0.01. So it does change within that, because now you're the very few that got through that slipped through the net. Now you're in there, you better kick open the door and bring everybody else in. I'm
glad you said that. We have a guy named Robin Frazier who's been very successful. He's probably the most successful black coach in the States, and he's won MLS Cup, but always as an assistant. He finally got his first head coaching job. And why I rate the youth, because he brought in a guy named Wildy Harris, who's another MLS veteran, and he brought him in as a first assistant. And we don't find that in the States. A lot of times in the college, in the collegial spectrum, if a black coach gets a head job, he feels he needs to bring in 2 white assistant coaches to kind of balance it out. So it's a safe zone. So
protection, self-preservation.
Self-preservation.
And that's what we've been taught is self-preservation. Look after yourself, look after your family, get your money, pull it here and keep it close. It's the same concept with all of it. But I always challenge that. And my missus will tell you, like, I'm more of I had nothing.
Yeah.
Listen, let me make it very clear. I don't want to go back to having nothing ever. I'm very comfortable in my position, but I'm also comfortable to stand on my own 2 feet and go, I don't like that. So if that's going to jeopardize money, I prefer to be able to look in the mirror and go, I'm a man of my word and who I am. Do you get what I mean?
No doubt.
That stands more for me than a pound note. So we've got here, and I think this is the one I'll always praise, is Les Ferdinand, who's at QPR. He's the only representation of black
at that level.
A director of football at QPR. So he runs all the operations. But he's now got the most, it's actually on record, the most diverse team is QPR from top to bottom. They've got the most black coaches, females, all of that, because he's opened the door, and we're currently in the state of taking a knee here. It's been getting a lot of backlash because it's trying to be manipulated and media twisted that it's a political movement. As again, over in the States, I know it represents a little bit differently, but we're doing it on this side of the fence to say, like, racism needs to stop. We've always been very clear on our messaging that racism needs to stop and we want to see change. So Les was the one who said, no, we're not taking a knee, because I feel like it's a gesture. But within that, he counted his own argument by saying, but I do all of this, look. Do you get what I mean? So I can sit back and go, all right, if you feel that QPR's team don't want to take a knee, I can respect that, because you've got a CV and a resume that says, I bring in people of color and women, and there's no discrimination. We're banging it out.
He's not just talking the talk. He's
walking the walk. Yeah.
And that's the big thing.
So Gooch, you played for QPR, right? I think Gooch froze on us. And
he's got upgraded to 5G yet.
Talking about mine. Hey, I thought it was mine for a second. I was like, yo, hold up. Wait,
Troy, every time we on this show, somehow his Wi-Fi goes out on him, man. So, it's never Gooch. It's never Gooch, man.
I've noticed that they got that problem in New York.
Nah, I got no problem over here, man. We good money in New York. Gooch, he came back for a minute. He's too light-skinned, man. But listen, oh man, he's really doing bad.
There you go. Yeah, now what happened? You got something to say now?
Wi-Fi Gooch.
It was Bees' connection. See, I don't know what the hell just happened. I was like, what? Anyway, my bad.
You Gooch out when you paused. I was just asking you. You played for QPR, correct?
Yeah, it was before Les came.
He was there with all the money, right? You was there when all the money was there.
I was there when Ari was there.
So when all the money was there, that's what he's missing, guys. He was there when all the money was there, and it was good times.
This guy over here.
But I didn't realize that QPR stopped taking the knee. And the first episode of the Crack podcast, we had one of Gooch's best friends on. What's my boy name again?
You tell me.
Jeff Cameron.
Putting words.
Yeah, I spoke to Jeff about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
in regards to this issue, because we actually played him on Monday.
That's a great conversation, because Jeff is a friend of ours, but Jeff is definitely a Trump supporter and a person who has different views. But we never spoke to him about that. What was his take on that? I'd love to know.
So we was in a meeting again. So maybe about 3-4 weeks ago, there's a lot of news on like TalkSport, which is like a national radio here, which is like the biggest sporting broadcaster over here for radio. There was a lot of debate about whether this taking a knee represented political movements, because that's something that the Premier League and the FA completely stay away from.
Yeah.
So obviously we had to come out and do all various talks, and then there was what was that thing that got sent around that's me to fill in? I forget the name of it. Oh, like a bullshit questionnaire that's never happened before. But now, like, do you want to take the knee? Do you feel like all of this thing? So me being the way I am, I kicked off about it. Like, this is bullshit. And the reason I say it's bullshit is because when we support any other movement, i.e. like the LGBTQ plus community, or where the rainbow armbands, or anything like that.
You don't have a choice.
But everyone's in unison. So like, I understand, like, it's very difficult for me to sit here and say, do I understand what it must be like for two gay men to walk down the road after a night out? No, I can't even comprehend that. So how can you try to tell me that is okay, that we all accept that there's gay people, there's transgender, all of these different types of communities now exist, but we still cannot talk about race on the same level? So I lost my head anyway about all of this, and Jeff happened to be on the call, and I made a few points, and Jeff said, look, it's very difficult for me because in the States, if I take the knee here in the States, I'm perceived to be like pro-Trump and all these different things. But in the UK, I totally understand why you're doing it. So I said, cool. I understand that. It's a very difficult situation for you because, again, you're American and we understand across the pond it's completely different. But when you play my team, I expect you to take the knee.
But I don't understand how is that different in the States and here, though. I mean,
because he's representing him
yeah.
So for my argument on this, to be more clear, my argument: if you don't want to take the knee, absolutely fine, don't take it.
Mm-hmm.
But when the question is asked, why aren't you taking the knee?
Yeah,
you better have a fucking good answer.
Yeah.
Because when I see you not taking the knee, you're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? So that's how I view it. So we just played Millwall on Tuesday. They don't take the knee as a club. They've said that. So they wanted me to stand and take a picture. We're all together with a t-shirt. Get to fuck. I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And they didn't want my team taking the knee. We took the knee. And it's funny because they had two players who had just signed and they went to take the knee with us and then looked around and went, oh shit, and kind of stood up with the rest of their team. Like,
that's crazy.
What's happening?
Wow.
But like, it's like a club policy that they don't want to do that. Again, that is perfectly fine. But now you have to be held accountable.
Yep.
So that's where the conversation will develop. I would prefer people to say, no, I don't want to take the knee for this reason. And then we can discuss the reason and move the conversation forward. But if you're going to keep taking the knee and just doing it just because, we're never going to get anywhere. We're going to go back to the standard, and you guys know about this, the kick it out nonsense. We wear a t-shirt before the game and no one notices because it's in the warm-up, but we throw the t-shirts away and that's the last year. We won't do it again for another year.
That's it.
I got a quick question about the kick it out. Well, doesn't really necessarily deal with that, but I saw the documentary of what's his name? Antoine Ferdinand.
Oh yeah.
And the whole thing that happened with John Terry, right? Because John Terry was part of that whole kick it out, all that garbage, and then everything happened. What's your take on that situation? Because like I say, it's just lip service. If anybody can put on a t-shirt and you're like, all right, I'll put on a t-shirt, whatever.
This is the thing, right? And this is where I you're starting me off here. I don't like to get started off.
Hey,
so
man.
This is where me and I call him Uncle Wrighty, but me and Ian Wright, we are in a group, a discussion group, and we've both been kicked out of certain meetings because we get so heated and animated that they kick us out and then let us come back in like when we've calmed down. But I always say this, right? Tell me something, and both your times, what has changed in the time period of you playing since those companies have been up and running, or those campaigns, should we say? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. So why do we feel like something's going to change now? It's not. So, like, I don't mean this because there will be good people within there, as we all know. There's people that are working and trying to do things. So I don't want to discredit them. But kick it out, stamp it out, show racing the red card. Three different entities, and we're still in this situation today.
No change.
So, but what has changed? What I do believe has changed in the past since we managed to, and I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back and the missus who sat there. Since we've got the Black Lives Matter on the shirt and changed the Premier League badge through persistence, through having all the other guys on board, your Kevin De Bruyne's, your Wes Morgan's, Harry Kane's, all on board, and like my missus designed that logo.
What?
Okay.
I didn't know that. Big up, Alicia.
Yeah.
Get some FaceTime on this. Get some FaceTime.
She designed the logo. Obviously, with us all coming together and saying that we were going to do it as players. Premier League now let us have it, and we got Black Lives Matter, and then we also auction those off, all the shirts off, and then give to black charities as well. So it was a real dope experience. But from that moment and players going, fuck you, this is what we're going to do, it's changed the whole landscape.
Yeah.
And that's what I think has happened from outside looking in with the NBA.
Yep.
When the players have now we're not playing, oh shit, we have to do change. And that is what the message I'm trying to tell to players now. You don't understand the power that we have while we're currently playing. The second we stop playing, we're irrelevant. So while we're currently playing, no, I'm not going to do that. We're going to do this. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this.
Yes.
And we could dictate the narrative, because think about it now. If I start playing tomorrow, who wants to hear off Troy Deeney? You get what I mean? Like, I don't even want to hear off me. So while I'm playing, I'm relevant.
Yep.
And while I'm still relevant and I have relationships and I can still speak to players in the Premier League and they respect me because of what I stand for, and vice versa, I can impact change.
Yes.
So I don't think we'll ever get in the UK, due to the contract situation, where we'll ever be like a Kaepernick, where it's like you froze out and you don't earn until that's over, because you'll always have your contract to fall back on. So we're very protected. So now their problem is, what they're having is players know they're protected, they know their rights, and they're not doing anything where you can take money away from them. Now you've got a three-headed beast that's very dangerous.
Definitely. And do you think that everybody's on board? Everybody's in unison in terms of, when I say everybody, I mean the black players throughout championship and EPL?
Yes, yes, I do. And this is the thing I always state, and I'd like to get you guys' opinion on it. If you was to give money to a charity now, let's say it's a charity let's say it's a cancer charity. Let's say we give money to a cancer charity. Of 10 kids that get looked at, how many would be black kids?
Lucky if it's one.
One or two? Well, you guarantee that the white population or the Asian kid or whatever will all be looked after, right?
Yeah, correct.
So when you spin that now on us, so now we've got the power and everyone goes, what do you want to fix? Oh shit, there's 10 different avenues we need to fix. We need ownership, we need education, we need black history. So our problem is now is trying to pull everything in and everyone focus on 2 or 3 areas, get that over the line, and then move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Because once, like you say, if you ask about inner cities, projects, schooling, how, like, there's all so many different things we could talk about when it comes to race that we could get diluted and they can start picking us off one by one. So we have to be very clear within our messaging and what we actually want to get to and achieve.
Besides yourself, who do you see as a really a leader who's willing to put his career on the line for the better cause? I would ask you in the EPL, just to kind of section it.
In the EPL is a little bit more different. And what I say about that is because we don't get as much coverage. I say I do, because I just talk shit.
Yeah.
And I'm part of a radio show, so I get my own platform every Monday. But
what about Premier League then?
But I think Premier League, Raheem Sterling, obviously, he was the one who more or less initiated this latest process. Marcus Rashford has done great things. He's now working with kids at underprivileged, making sure they get free school meals. Wes Morgan, don't really hear much about Wes, but he's Leicester captain, and
of course
he's now trying to push to be on board level.
Nice.
I think Leicester have already given him a position on board level, and they're now training him up. Tyrone Mings plays for Villa in England. He's been very vocal. So you're getting more and more players coming out, and more players understanding that and being told it's okay. That's the key mission. Like, it's okay to have an opinion. Yeah. And you're not, because I don't know whether you guys saw the Man United young lad who he got a deflected goal went in yesterday and they lost 2-1.
Yeah.
He got racially abused straight after the game. Yeah. So
we were going to talk about that. So I'm glad you brought that up, because Gooch had it on our topics, but that's one thing that I feel that's never going to go away. The trolling and the social media racism. I think the bigger focus should be the systematic racism. That's only we can control. There's always going to be ignorance. As long as you have black and white, there's always going to be people who feel insecure and people who feel like they got to bring you down. But for my issue, like we spoke about earlier, is the coaching, is the opportunities, is doing things that we can't really control, right? Because the people's personality, people's opinions, there's only so much you could do, especially if you're dealing with social media.
But I totally agree. But I'm gonna come at it from a different angle.
Definitely.
Look at the demographic now of ages 24 and down. They live on this.
Yeah.
So that social media comment now is their life. That's why they post so much. They live for the comments. They live for the likes, boys and girls. So I was in a call every day is the same. A couple of days ago, anyway, with government and a few other guys on it, saying that there has to be governance from government to these social media guys to say it's not acceptable, because the same way they can track down or they can see tweets and see where to put advertisements and all the algorithms for that, you're telling me they can't do that with racism?
Very true. And when I say that statement, look what happened in the Capitol in DC, how they stormed the building, right?
100%.
So if what Trump's been doing for 4 years, this is the outcome, right? Is that it is powerful. So you're absolutely right, man.
Of course. So we have to do that, and we do have to address it. But my thing is, in my opinion, it's a very easy fix. We all so I don't know if it's like this in America, but in the UK, if you're going to gamble, you need to show proof of identity. Now there's a new law, so you got proof of identity, how much you earn, and they regulate how much you can spend and can't spend on these gambling sites now. You can't do that with social media. Proof of address and ID. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be people that slip through the net, as we all know, but there's an ID and an identification number that says Troy Deeney was racist to such person on such date. Bang, that's where he lives. We can now do criminal proceedings, because we got abused, like me and my partner, after we played Wolverhampton in the semi-final of the FA Cup, and I scored in the last minute, the last kick of the game actually, to make it extra time, and we won in extra time. And we got racially abused by, I want to say, 90% of Mexico. Like death threats, this, that, and the other. Like people from Wolverhampton, like just not even cool. Like I'm not a social media dude, so it doesn't really affect me. But every post was monkey emoji, nigger this, blah blah blah, all the way down. For like, you could just keep doing it. You can do that, and you can just see it. Yeah. Now, it doesn't affect me, as I say, because I don't live on my social media like that. But how is that on someone's partner? By all she's done is going out with me. She didn't affect the game. She doesn't affect what comes out of my mouth. Yet now you're gonna go, you this, that, and the other, or talk about my kids. And if you did that in the street, A, you get your teeth punched in, but B, you get arrested. So why is it any different because it's on social media? Because in one argument we make out that social media is a new tool, it connects everybody, it's a great advertisement for everyone to interconnect around the world. But when it comes to racism, man, it's just online, deal with it.
Very true, man. But
you're right. Because I think that's a big issue, social media. Because if you can stop, for example, so you talk about Gucci brought up the president, and Mookie brought up the president, what all happened at the Capitol that one day, and and obviously with the election, and he was tweeting all this nonsense about, the election was rigged and this and that. Twitter shut him down. Twitter said, yo, you are not, there you go. Like that. So why can't they do that with racism? I 100% agree with what you're saying.
I mean, they can, because in a lot
that's what I'm saying.
A lot of situations, it's a hate crime, right? And that's an offense. Yeah. Hate crime is an offense. So I like your idea and in your reasoning of like, hey, you have to have proof of identity. You have to have proof of address, because now that's how we identify you. That's how we get you. That's how now you're charged for such crime. And people are going to be like, oh, freedom of speech. Yeah, you have freedom of speech until it imposes on someone else's freedom of well-being.
Exactly. 100%. And the thing to just caveat what you just said is, like, it shuts down like that when it's convenient. Racism isn't convenient. Racism is an uncomfortable conversation for all of us to have. White, black, mixed, it's uncomfortable.
Yes, sir.
Me talking about you guys talking about your experience of racism isn't a comfortable thing. You don't sit there and laugh about it. It brings up hurtful meanings of what's previously happened. And that's where, like, I have this feeling, and it could be massively wrong. I think the social media companies thrive off it, because when you talk about a player being racially abused, it's a free advertisement because they say this player was racially abused on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it might be.
And the first thing somebody does is go on Instagram and Twitter to see the
exactly. If you hear about it, what's the first thing you do? Let me go and check what was actually said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bullshit. And it drives more traffic towards them. But these are the things that people don't want to talk about because it gets uncomfortable. And when you start putting logic and common sense to it, like my dad used to say, common sense ain't that common.
Real talk, Troy. Real talk. I told you, you're the best person we need to have on to our first episode of The Crack, man. But before the missus wrench your neck and tell you gotta get off the Zoom.
No, she's here. She said, like, I didn't say this at the start. She wants to listen in.
Yeah,
so she's like, oh, can I listen in? I was like, yeah. Right.
But you know, I like to talk a little bit about, you know, accountability and these tough guys on the field. And recently with Lukaku and Zlatan, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, they had a little confrontation on the field.
That would have been a good scrap. I'm not gonna lie.
That's why I wanted to ask you. But also, you know, you're known, and I can't play a game without getting a confrontation with somebody. But you're known for it. What has been the closest?
Wait, what am I known for? You didn't say it. Tell me what I'm known for.
Are you known for it?
Don't be a pussy now. Tell me.
No. What you known for is talking shit about my team Arsenal, but I ain't gonna do that yet. We're gonna talk about that next. But what I'm saying that for me, when I play a sport, it's I'm not feeling the game if I can't talk shit. If I'm not really going back and forth with somebody. And but there's a lot of, like you said, pussies, right? Who play in the game, who talk this shit. But have you ever gotten to the point where Lukaku wanted to see him in the locker room, right? So there's guys who talk shit on the field, but then when you really get in their face, it's like social media. They're not about that life.
That's a new generation. What you mean? New generation, like.
What's the closest you got to somebody really get into a real beef where it really, even off the field in the locker room, even the time you saw him, it was actually problems.
See, with me, right?
Say names too.
No, I'm trying to be careful, right? Because
no.
Still obviously playing, so and I don't want to come across like a bully because that's not who I am. So what I'm saying is, see with me, if it's on a football pitch, let's go. It's me v you. You better than me. At the end of the day, we shake hands, whatever. There's certain things you can and can't say to me on a football pitch. Yeah. That's not racial but it's like like. Let's say I've got a tackle and someone goes, get up, you're faking it. Huh? Faking it? Nah, I'm not on it. Not it.
Trigger.
Yeah, so I get up and I'm like, let's go. But there was one instance, you know how players all come together. Yeah. I'll leave the names out, but all players come together, and I've kind of just move out of the way, lads. Like, nothing's gonna happen. We're on a football pitch. So you know what I mean? Unless we're really scrapping, then let's do it. But nothing's gonna happen. So I'll break it up. And I remember pushing said person away. He's like, "You think you're a gangster?"
Give me the name. I need the name. At least tell me where he plays.
So I was just like, relax. Like, nothing's gonna happen. I promise you, it's football. Nothing's gonna happen. And he's like, "Yeah, you're all talk anyway." Oh, all right, cool. I said, "Listen, change rooms there." I think there's about 6 minutes left in the game. When it finishes, ask me the same question. So we go off the pitch. He ran
straight in the locker room.
But this is where I'm a little bit different. So I go and knock the door. "Oh, I'm here, man. Come and say that again, innit?" He's like, Troy, it was just football. I said, wow. No problem. But you know what's going to happen? This person at the time happened to live in Birmingham. So I'm like, I'll see you out and I'll ask the same question. Now, we went out and it was around Christmas time, and as the guys probably tell you, everyone goes out, Christmas parties, whatever. But I went out with just me and my friend, just two of us. We went out in Birmingham, and one of these teams was out. I've gone, and he's gone, "Yeah, that's my man who said that to you, isn't it?" I was like, "Yeah." So, come, let's go and ask him what he was really about. Yeah. So we went in the middle of their Christmas party, and I just said, like, "You on the same energy?" He wasn't.
Yeah.
He probably bought you a drink. He probably bought you a drink.
It's like, Troy, what you drinking, buddy? It's all
Yeah,
me.
so we just had a discussion of like, look, football's football.
Mhm.
But you got to question me and my manhood and who I'm about. You're gonna get checked, and when you got checked, don't run away. Stand on what you said. And he bought our drinks for the rest of the night, and we're cool since.
Troy, but let's keep it real, Troy. Go ahead, Goose.
No, I was saying, like, on the pitch, we all know this. People try to get under your skin. They try to provoke you, and they try to poke the bear the way that they know it's gonna.
I say they try. I always say people say to poke the bear. You know when you poke Hulk, sorry, and he's got the green in his eyes. You can see he's getting mad.
Yeah.
Just don't prod it one more time. And I'll let you know, like, you're getting me angry now.
Right.
But my thing is, I don't know whether you've all saw it. You like this, but the Joe Allen one. So I got 4-game ban off the back of it, where Joe Allen, who used to play for Liverpool, was like 5'4".
Yeah.
And he literally jumped up and like headbutted my chin. But when I lose my head, I smile. I kind of got the Joker thing going on. Like I've lost it, but I'm laughing because I'm like, now I'm in my comfort zone. Let's you know what I mean? And I picked him up by his face like this. And there's a picture of me, like he's off the floor, but I'm holding him by his face. Going, this really what you want? And then I didn't get sent off in the game because there were so many bodies. But when they look back, I got a 4-game ban and a 10-grand fine.
Yeah, man.
Gucci had a couple of them, didn't you?
But look, man, I'm gonna be real, but I'm 6'4", 200 some pounds. People, they don't bring that same energy to me when you're standing over them. But I will say, I would try to provoke strikers, and I'd be like, if you're on the ground, I'd be like, get up, stop. I would say, man, get up, stop.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't. I would try to see how you react.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the game, shake hands.
Exactly.
As respect.
As I say, there's a respect level. Like, just to go back to the Joe Allen thing, I just remembered something. So they got drug tested afterwards. And him, Darren Fletcher, and Tom Cleverley on our team was upstairs in the drugs room. And Cleverley was like, why Troy? Like, of all the people you could like, why Troy? And he said, like, this is Clev's version of it. He's like, nah, Tom, I thought he was going to kill me. He didn't let me go. Like, he said, 3 or 4 more seconds, I was out. And I was like, oh, I feel bad now. Then I saw him, we played last week, and I saw him, and I was like, no hard feelings. He's like, as long as you don't grab me, we're cool.
Be good.
No, but it's about respect. At the end of the day, like, we all say things and do little things to gain an advantage.
There's a line though, Troy. There's a line.
You
leave others out. You don't try to injure somebody. You know.
And you don't speak about. And in my case,
and never invite them to your. You never invite them to your
family, and we're cool.
Yeah, and you don't invite somebody to your. I'm Jamaican. You don't say SMU. I mean SMD. You know what I'm saying? Those things is a fine line. But I want to close.
Say that it's cool.
Yeah, everything else is cool. Yeah.
Wait, quick question before we transition, real quick. You said one thing, Troy. You said you don't talk about the family. And I go back to what Mookie brought this whole topic with Lukaku and Zlatan. One of the words that we hear in the audio, Zlatan said, "Go run back to your mother and do that voodoo shit."
Word.
And at that point, we're scrapping.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying
ain't no more football.
At that point, because depending on who and how you take it, there's racial connotations to that.
Yes,
there's disrespecting my mom anyway. And at that point, if you're on my team and you're trying to hold me back, you're getting it because you're supporting it. That's just how my mind works.
Yes, sir.
Like, everyone's a target that way. I need to get to you're the one who said that, I got to get to you.
Yes, sir.
So knowing Rom the way I know him and the brief encounters I've had with Zlatan, there's definitely a dust-up that's happened in the change room. Unless they've been able to totally keep them apart. Because they're both
that's when he was going crazy. He's like, "You gonna talk about my mom?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, this is."
And they know each other. You know what I'm saying?
They played with each other.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. That's the beauty of competition. I can play against my best friend. I want to beat you.
Yes.
But again, the respect and the line, you can't go across that. And at the end of it, it would be a very difficult conversation. And even if Zlatan apologized, he's never looking at him the same way again afterwards.
Never.
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 Because you're prepared to go to that point.
Yeah.
So our friendship can't mean that much to you.
Gooch, what did he say to you when you had a tussle with him in practice, man?
Get off my neck. What was he gonna, what's he gonna say when I'm choking him up?
Oh man, we're gonna end on that, Troy. I just want to say, another thing. I really know that you're really an Arsenal fan, so I just want to say thank you for gut checking my squad. Because after you talk that shit,
Are you part of this whole? Because I've got Arsenal fans in the house now. Like I let them in. I don't guarantee that I do. But so, are you in the group that go Troy's right, but he shouldn't have said it?
No, I'm in a group where thank God you said it, because that caused change, right? And that addressed a situation that needed to be addressed, that we all said.
Oh, so it's kind of like racism change. It's long and ongoing because they still at one shit.
No. We've come a long way. We have cats like Gabriel who will kick you up, who ready to kick you up. Tierney, they're ready to kick you up. So things have changed, man. So I just want to thank you, my brother, for sparking that. You know what I'm saying? And
that is one of the things I'll never get away from. But it's actually brought me close. As I say, Ian Wright's one of like, I can pick the phone up, he calls. And I've even had conversations with Thierry of it. So
yeah,
I'm technically more of an Arsenal legend than the people that play for us.
Oh, wow. Man,
Wow.
I tell you.
Drop the mic on that. Gracious.
Hey,
Troy.
guys, thank you for the conversation.
Troy, before you go, I wanted to ask you about my boy, your goalkeeper. Well, now you're retired, but Gomi. How is he?
Yeah, Big Gomez.
Yeah, I played with him at PSV. So I wonder, how was he when you were playing with him? Because he played what there 6 years?
Yeah, he literally just retired in 4 or 5 months ago. But a special human being, genuinely special human being. He's the last 3 or 4 years, I know he built a church back in Brazil, and he's obviously working to be a pastor and a minister. So like he's just a real dope individual, man. And every now and again you meet someone that's just got a clean heart.
Yeah,
like he just wants everyone to be better. He's just grateful for his life. Yeah, he's just a real dope individual and a great footballer, obviously. So we don't really call goalkeepers footballers, but but he's that dope individual, and he's. I still keep in contact because I think just someone like that, he's going to go on to be special no matter what he does.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was younger when obviously when he retired, but yeah, just a pure individual, pure hearted. Really spirited and really good dude. Yeah, really good dude. Just wanted to hear what you thought about him.
Yeah, like no, you know what the best thing is? It's about what people say when you're not in the room.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've never met anyone that's spoken negatively about him.
No, not at all. Yeah, he was good. Really nice guy.
Well, Troy, man, I look forward to you get into politics after you finish your playing career.
They ain't gonna let me through that door. I'm just trying to get to a stage.
The Parliament with Troy Deeney, my brother. But thank you again, man. It's been a blessing, and thank you to the missus as well for making this happen.
No, yeah, she sorted it out. So when she says you're good people, man. But again, thank you for the time. I've just realised we got a bottle of wine in the back. No one in this house drinks, by the way, so I don't know.
It's unopened. It's unopened.
Yeah. Drop, but thank you guys. Honestly, appreciate it, and I know it's tough times out there in America as well. So be safe, man. Look after your family, and health is wealth, man.
You too.
Yeah, you as well, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Health is wealth. That's for sure.
Wow. That
could have been a whole another hour.
That could have been a whole 2 seasons.
Hour.
Second season.
We had 2 hours right now.
That's wild. This guy, that's a way to kick off 2021 right there.
Right?
Raw, uncut, unfiltered, unapologetic. Damn, that was a good one. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was just sitting back and just listening. He had a lot of great things, made a lot of great points, things that can change, things about his past, future, what's going on in the world. So yeah, it was a dope show, a real dope show.
Listen, it's the first one of the season 2, baby. So, we just getting started, just getting rolling again. And I just want to say thank you to our listeners for tuning in. And I'm excited to have you guys on board for our ride for the season 2. And, you know, I'm excited to have Damarcus Beasley have a background. So, you know.
One day. What do you want me to do? Put up a jersey? Just a jersey or something? I mean, what do you want me to do?
We'll talk about that, man. But listen,
put up an Arsenal jersey on your wall.
Definitely not.
On my picture. Everybody, you know, again, stay safe. And, you know, look forward to seeing you guys next time. And make sure you share, comment, rate, show love. All right? And peace. We out.
Peace.
Peace.